and the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Brian Shea is not with us today. He is ill. So the first thing on our agenda is the consent agenda. What's the pleasure of the board? Any questions, concerns?
Yeah, I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. First up, we have Matt Wyatt, Planning and Development, and Pam Colstrip. Discussion decision to approve the final plats of Matriarch Manor East and West subdivisions situated in Garner Township and to sign planning and zoning resolution 2022-07. Pam, you have any comments on this?
This is just the final step for the 7-lot subdivision that I think you guys approved a preliminary back in March.
Okay,
So
last
just
step.
the last step,
Last step.
and then she'll be able to record it and create the lots.
Any questions for Pam? Any questions from the board?
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Hauser, call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisors Belt.
Aye.
Groby.
Aye.
And Schultz.
Aye.
Next up, Jason Slack, Director of Buildings and Grounds. I don't see anybody here from McElhenney?
Yeah.
All right. And we also have Kim with HGM. Discussion decision to approve change order number 4, roofing material price increase in the amount of $43,928.03. Jason, you want to start it off, or?
Sure. The subcontractor is subject to pricing upon delivery as suppliers are no longer holding and honoring price commitments they received during the bidding process. So basically the material comes in, they're expected to pay whatever the increase is at the time the material arrives, as opposed to what they were quoted when they originally bid the project.
A couple of questions for you, Jason. Is there any way that any other price increases we can take care of ahead of time instead of at the time of delivery? Can we pay for anything ahead of time?
Unfortunately, it just depends on the material, and John, you can probably speak a little bit better to this.
With this specific one in regards to roofing, no. Vendors are on an allotment from people specifically with roof insulation. That's the big jump in this number here. We submitted the tapered insulation and the regular insulation, like one of the first submittals on the job back in the fall. And we are just now receiving that. We received it a couple weeks ago. And that is supply chain issues. So not only pricing, but also long lead times. So you are not able to lock anything in with the current market and the validity and material procurement issues. It's a tough deal. They won't honor anything at bid time, and it's when they load it on a truck to send it to you, and if you get it. And we got ours, like I said, a couple weeks ago. We've been waiting 10 months.
Okay, the breakdown of the material on the line paper that was provided in hand, that's handwritten, did you do
Yes.
that, John?
My subcontractor, the roofing contractor, did that.
All right, there was a balance at the bottom of $42,459.81.
Yes.
Why is the change order for $43,928?
On the handwritten one? Yeah, so the numbers that are crossed out and written in blue ink are mine, and those are simply math errors from my subcontractor adding it up. So when I went through it, and then also with HGM's team, his numbers did not add up correctly. So I had multiple conversations with him to verify, and he's like, I'm sorry, it's just some math errors. So that in blue ink is the corrected amount with just some math. discrepancies.
Are you okay with that, Jason?
Kim?
Yeah, we've been going back and forth with these guys just to check numbers and everything, so.
I called ABC Supply, I'm pretty familiar with that supplier. I asked if that roughly $44,000 number was accurate. They said that doesn't even come close to covering what their loss was.
Okay, so what is the amount?
The 43,928.
The 43,928 is the correct amount that the roofer is seeking to cover the material increases.
Okay, is this the last one from them?
On the last one on the job, probably not. I had the same issue with glass, I can tell you right now. We are not able to procure the glass yet, and that has gone up as well. Is it the end of the roofing? Yeah, this is the roofing, but there's a few other items on this job that are not on site or procured yet that are subject to the same market conditions. It's not a fun deal. I don't like it either. I mean, my roofer this is more money than he's gonna make on the job. So I don't think it's fair for anyone to have to burden it, but it's part of the market that we're dealing with now. I mean, I'm eating fuel surcharges on every yard of concrete I pour because gas prices have gone up so much. You know, the granular we placed under the slab wasn't the same that I did it at. I mean, I'm taking hits, and I don't wanna sit here and nickel dime the owner. That's not what we're about. This is a pretty significant one, obviously. But, you know, I think, I look at it, we're in it as a team. I'm taking hits on stuff too, so. I've done my best to reach out to subs of things that are still out there, and I can tell you that the glass for this job is still an issue, with a price increase.
Kim, what's your recommendation?
We're seeing this on a lot of projects, and it is my recommendation that for this price increase, it's something that the subs just are kind of throwing their hands up that if they can't get paid for, you know, especially a high dollar amount, that they threaten to walk, and then everybody's in kind of, you know, up a creek at that point. So, and unfortunately, it's just a weird market that suppliers especially are holding almost hostage their materials and basically making somebody pay more money, so.
Jason, what, is that your recommendation?
Unfortunately, yes.
Is ABC the one that's the supplier or not?
ABC is the supplier, yes.
Is the supplier?
And for this particular sub, he came in right away as soon as they had a signed contract and came and talked to us about, can I get my submittals into you, get them turned around so we can get this material ordered? Because he saw that this, you know, it's happening across the board. So we turned their submittals around right away, and usually we don't see their submittals till further down the road. So I mean, he did everything right to get the material here in a timely manner, and unfortunately, this is just what he got hit with.
Any questions from the board? What's the pleasure of the board?
So the product is all sitting somewhere now then?
That's correct. We're utilizing the south lot from the courthouse here a little bit, and then he's also got the rest in his warehouse.
Okay.
What's our, Jason, I mean, you've been keeping track of like what the total overage is right now. Do you have that figure with you?
Yeah.
roughly?
Do you have this sheet?
And then how far off are we from what we, you know?
Well, we initially did the change order for the steel, which was $75,845. This one is the second monetary change order that we've had.
Yeah. What percent did we put on overage or whatever? I forget the title, the word right now, but contingency, thank you. What is it today?
Usually it's 5% of what the construction cost is.
I think that's what we were saying was
We're
5%.
probably reaching that now, right?
I'm sure.
I was thinking it was it's 15, but
I'll make the motion to approve.
really Ken will do them without the road.
I'll second it.
That's a fair point, Scott, thank you.
Any other questions for Tim?
No, it is what it is. I guess, obviously, you know, to Tim's point with the question he asked, you know, if there is any kind of forecasting you can do, and there are savings that you can find, we obviously need to take advantage of that, and I trust that all of you are working on that and taking care of that, so, you know.
That's something that we've discussed at our construction meetings since the very first one.
I was walking around the yards last night, just looking at the prices of just all building materials in general, it's just insane. But, you know, we're dealing with that right now, and it ebbs and flows. I mean, there'll be times in the future, I hope that we'll see it the other way, so. Call for the vote?
Okay, any other questions for anybody? All right, we have motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, we have the Auditor's Office, Becky Lennon, Tax and Finance Officer. Discussion decision on the amendment for the fiscal year 2021-22 budget and setting date for public hearing on said amendment. Becky, you're up.
Hey, thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
The notice of public hearing amendment of the current budget should have been in your packet. That is due to veterans relocation allocation, Hitchcock South upgrades, grants from public health, 2019 flood demolition costs, mental health modification per Senate File 619, and the public health building fundraising for that.
Is the, that go under the miscellaneous, that grant revenue, is that where that one goes?
The 20,000,
Well, it looks like it was 567, 272.
that's the revenue amount. There's going to be some, goes under
Right above that,
miscellaneous
yeah, right
and
above
some
its
under
miscellaneous.
intergovernmental.
Okay. So we're gonna set the public hearing for,
What do you want that, Becky?
May 17th, 10 a.m.
I'll make that motion,
I'll second it.
May 17th, 10 a.m.
Any other questions for Becky, Melvin? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Then we have a number of transfers that we need to take care of. Becky, discussion or decision to approve resolution 33-2022. It's authorizing a transfer from the local option sales tax secondary roads fund to the bond series 2021 debt fund. Any comments on that, Becky?
That's just the normal transfer that we do out of the lost secondary roads funds in order to pay the bond payment that is due on or before June 1st. And resolution 34-2022 is the same scenario.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we're gonna work one at a time. This is 33-2022.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have
I made the motion.
Ms. Schultz. Did you get a second?
We have a motion and a second on 33-2022. Mr. Hauser, call the roll.
Chairman Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisors Belt.
Aye.
Groby.
Yes.
And Schultz.
Aye.
Next up, we have a resolution authorizing the transfer from local option sales tax secondary roads fund to the bond series 2021 B debt fund. This is in the amount of $192,052.61. Can you just explain what that was a
Yeah.
second ago?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Hauser, call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisors Bell. Groby.
Aye.
And Schultz.
Aye.
Next up, we have Resolution 35-2022, a resolution transfer from the local option tax secondary roads fund to secondary roads fund of $2,750,000.
So moved.
Second.
Do you have any comments on this one? Is this for the,
This is John's interfund transfer for material expenses for capital road improvements that we do each year.
awesome. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Hauser, call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman. Supervisors Bell. Groby. And Schultz.
Aye.
Next up, Becky, we have 36-2022, resolution from transfer from rural services to secondary roads fund.
This is a budgeted transfer, second and third quarter, from rural to secondary roads. This is also done annually.
Yeah, I'll motion approved.
Second.
Questions for Becky? Mr. Hauser, you call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman. Supervisors Bell. Groby. And Schultz.
Aye.
Next up, Becky, you're still up. We have Resolution 37-2022, resolution authorizing transfer from the Bond Series 2020A debt fund to the Bond Series 2021B debt fund. Becky.
This is a transfer that we are doing at the time that we did our budget. We did the pre-bond levy. This fund was not created. The 2240 fund was not created. So we are transferring a little bit of money from the 2220 and then also in your next resolution from the 2230 fund.
What's the pleasure of the board? We don't have Brian here, so
I'll
step
make
up.
a motion on
All
that.
right.
Second.
Any other questions for Becky on 37? Mr. Hauser, call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Groby.
Aye.
And Bell.
Mixing it up.
Yeah, keep you guys on your toes.
These won't, show up on your fund balance sheet until next week, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, they have to go down to the treasurer's office after they're approved.
okay, thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Resolution 38-2022, authorizing transfer from Bond Series 2021A debt fund to Bond Series 2021B debt fund.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions for Becky on that one? No. Mr. Hauser, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisors Groby.
Aye.
Bell. Schultz.
Aye.
All right.
Thanks, Becky.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Next up. One second here.
With this.
Do you want this list, Tim, or you want me to call them up?
Yeah, you can call it. I don't see that. I was supposed to read put it in there.
Oh,
Yeah. Not a big deal to figure out where it went. after the fact. Next up, we have public comment. Mr. Hauser, do we have anybody sign up?
We have Dave Bashir?
Shaw.
Bashaw?
That's all right. I usually get Boucher, so.
Okay.